Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets because as you can see on your screen before you, Bitcoin has been getting absolutely slaughtered over the last 24 hours, and indeed many of the traders in the cryptocurrency space have as well. That is, of course, unless you've been a shorter, in which case I'm sure you've had one hell of a time because the last 24 hours have seen Bitcoin drop about $1,000 in price action. Very recently, Bitcoin was trading at around $7,400. It is now trading at around $6,400. That is a $1,000 price reduction in 1 day, a 12.5% reduction in price in under 24 hours. Bitcoin has gotten slaughtered here, and we're going to be talking about why that happened in today's video. We're going to be talking about the indicators that pointed to this pullback, what those indicators look like now, and we're also going to be discussing the health of the Bitcoin rally. Is that rally over? Is that rally on hold? Does that rally even have the potential to continue? Is that rally just done now? We're going to be discussing the rally also later on in the video. But before we get into today's video, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell. Guys, it does help out the channel if you do it. I would be appreciative if you did it. But without much further ado, let's get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading at around $6,400. And one of the first things that we want to do here in this video is have a moment of silence for the altcoins, guys, because as we scroll down CoinMarketCap, this is quite a sight to behold. I would like all of you to press F to pay respects on your keyboards right now because 92 of the top 100 cryptocurrencies are down by over 10%, and 8 cryptocurrencies are down by over 25%. We see 8 cryptocurrencies that are down by over 25%. They've lost a quarter of their valuation. We see 4 cryptocurrencies in the green. 2 of them are stable coins. One of them is Emmercoin, which is just trying to be different. Emmercoin's emo or something. And Bitcoin Diamond is up over 100% because Bitcoin Diamond is just a contrarian. Bitcoin Diamond doesn't like going with the crowd. But the rest of the altcoins, it has not been a very, very good day for them. Indeed, it has been a very, very bad day for them. And I want to talk about that because one of the reasons that we see altcoins get slaughtered in such a drastic way whenever we see Bitcoin go down is because, like we've talked about in other videos, a lot of the times the altcoins like to move in the same direction Bitcoin does, but they like to move a bit further. I normally don't get too into why that happens, so let's do that right now. One of the reasons that the altcoins get slaughtered so badly when Bitcoin goes down is because one thing you have to remember is that every single altcoin that you see listed on your screen right now, basically the only trading pair that matters for any of these altcoins is Bitcoin over this cryptocurrency, or excuse me, this cryptocurrency over Bitcoin. So what happens when people sell these altcoins? Well, they're selling it into Bitcoin, and when they're selling it into Bitcoin, they're helping to prop up the Bitcoin value. And also, when people are getting out of these altcoins, a lot of the time they put their valuation into Bitcoin, even if they're not trading over a Bitcoin pair, because people perceive Bitcoin as a less risky investment vehicle than a lot of these altcoins, which is why you see the altcoins just get absolutely slaughtered in times like this. And that's also one of the reasons that you see Bitcoin's dominance going up so much in downtrends. And that's why we've seen that pattern happen so many times this year, where Bitcoin's dominance will rally during a downtrend, which is kind of a weird thing to think about, but when you think about it, it's because people are putting their valuation into what they perceive as a less risky and more stable investment vehicle like Bitcoin. Now, of course, people may say that Bitcoin's not very stable, it's not very volatile, and it is risky. That is true, but when you look at it in the grand scheme of the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin is one of the safest investment vehicles besides for, of course, Tether, and even that is a controversial thing to say. But nevertheless, we've seen Bitcoin's dominance continue to rally here. We see Bitcoin's dominance but up around 55.09% today, and that has definitely been continuing to climb. We've seen Bitcoin's dominance kind of plateau up here for the last couple of weeks, but it started to climb again in the last 24 hours as Bitcoin decided to go and jump off a cliff because Bitcoin, well, we're going to be talking about why that happened in a little bit, but nevertheless, we have seen this continue to rise, and I talked about in another video, which I'll link in the top right if you want a little bit more of my insight into why the Bitcoin dominance is rising. I talked about in that video about why I believe that Bitcoin's dominance is either going to continue sideways or start moving up in the next couple of months as this bear market continues to drag on, because I don't think the end of the bear market is necessarily right around the corner, especially not now because the rally that we've been looking at happening over here is definitely in jeopardy. But until the new bull run comes, I think that Bitcoin's dominance is either going to stay stable or it's going to continue going up. I don't see Bitcoin's dominance going much below 50 until we see an actual proper rally that sets a new higher high and a new higher low. One other thing that we want to talk about is total market capitalization, because what we've seen today is that Bitcoin pulled back to a very important level. Not very important, but it is something that we want to look at. It's not the be-all and end-all of crypto, but we saw Bitcoin pull back, we saw the cryptocurrency markets pull back to around $200 billion of valuation today, and that is a level that we would like to hold. hold. It's by no means the end of the world if we go below it, but it is one thing that we would like to see Bitcoin retain, or excuse me, the cryptocurrency markets retain. We would like to see the cryptocurrency market stay above $200 billion in valuation, simply because that's a psychological barrier and that's a psychological level of support. And when you see this 2 change to a 1, that's not something that you typically want to see. It's just kind of a bearish thing. It's not exactly the same kind of level of support and resistance that you might see on a chart, for example, but it is something that we would like to see Bitcoin hold. I believe with that, we've covered everything that we want to talk about here on CoinMarketCap. So let's go ahead and get to the chart. The first thing we want to talk about is this pullback and what caused this pullback. Well, the first thing that we want to talk about in that is the level of $7,400, because why did Bitcoin top out at $7,400? Of all levels, why did it top out here? Well, I talked about in yesterday's video, which you can watch in the top right if you're interested, about why I was expecting a pullback. And I believe in that video I said that we were expecting Bitcoin to go somewhere to around $7,400 to $7,600. I think I said specifically $7,500 to $7,600 before we were to see a pullback. And we actually got the pullback at $7,400. And that's interesting. One reason I was expecting $7,500 is because $7,500 is a semi-big even. It's halfway between $7,000 and $8,000, and you tend to see a lot of price action. You tend to see a lot of support and resistance around levels like that. And the reason that I was expecting $7,600 may also be a level is because it kind of correlates with the downtrend right here. Right here, we would see Bitcoin come up to right around $7,600. But in fact, we actually went up to $7,400, which is a very interesting level, because there's no real important price action that would indicate that $7,400 is a very important level. The most recent place that we've seen an actual bottom or top to indicate that $7,400 might be a level of support or resistance is actually back in March. It's right over here. We can see this pulled back to right around $7,400. So it's kind of just a level where we saw Bitcoin go up to, and it had 2 zeros in it because of $7,400. It's close to $7,500, and we did pull back here. One of the reasons that we were going to pull back here, and that I believed that we were going to see a pullback, albeit I didn't expect a pullback this drastic. We'll be talking about that in a second. What were these 3 indicators down here? We saw the stochastic RSI was up here in overbought territory for a very long time. Stochastic RSI desperately needed to come down. We saw stochastic RSI up here for almost 3 weeks, guys. It's not very often that you see stoch RSI go up that high and stay up that high for that long. We did desperately need a correction, and it is a very, very good thing for the Bitcoin market that we are getting this correction. Maybe we don't need one this drastic to pull the stochastic RSI back down, but nevertheless, it is nice to see stochastic RSI coming back down, and also normal RSI is actually getting a nice little healthy correction as we come down. It's always good to look at the good and the bads of every market swing and anything in life, really. And a couple of the good things that we are seeing out of this, that are coming out of this, is stochastic RSI and RSI are getting reset, which is going to make it much easier for us to return to the levels that we were just at 24 hours ago, guys. So it's not necessarily the end of the world. It is nice to see these things get reset, because it will help Bitcoin continue to move upwards if it does decide to continue to move upwards. There's a couple of things else I want to talk about with the MACD, but I'm going to save that for a little bit because I have a lot of things I want to get into with it. Let's talk about the 20 daily EMA. That would be this moving average here on the chart. And this is a very important moving average. I've talked about in a lot of videos as to why I believe this is a very important moving average, because typically when Bitcoin is above it, we're in a rally. Typically when Bitcoin is below it, we're in a downtrend. And it is a level that Bitcoin likes to get support and resistance around, as seen when we were in this downtrend right over here. We got resistance, and kind of pseudo resistance right there. We got support right there. And then when we got above it here, we went on the rally. And right now, or well, not right now, but about 10 days ago or so, Bitcoin did get above this and continue the rally. And that was one of the confirmations that I was looking for a new rally. And when Bitcoin did get above that, the rally was coming, and I was expecting it to come. One thing that we've seen in the last 8 hours or so is that Bitcoin actually got below the 20 daily EMA, which is not a good thing. It's not the end of the bear market. Excuse me, it's not the end of the rally, but it's not a good thing. We don't want to see Bitcoin below that, because when Bitcoin is below that, typically it's in a downtrend. And I don't know about you, but I would like to see Bitcoin continue up so we can hopefully have a new bull market. Of course, shorting is great, but I think we all want to see Bitcoin go to a new all-time high. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that just because Bitcoin is down below the 20 daily EMA does not by any means mean that Bitcoin has actually ended its rally. We'll be talking about whether the rally is over in just a second, because what we saw back over here when Bitcoin went on its rally in late July and on into August is that Bitcoin actually did pull back below the 20 daily EMA before getting back above it and continuing one of the biggest rallies that we've seen in a very long time. This is a very quick rally. This week or so, this 10 days price action right here was actually very reminiscent of the kind of price action that we saw in 2017. This was definitely like bull market price action. We saw a lot of good price action coming out of this, and the same thing very well could come if Bitcoin does get back up above the 20 daily EMA. watch out for that, because this is a very powerful exponential moving average, and I am very much looking for Bitcoin to get back above that. One other thing that we want to talk about is much more apparent on the hourly chart. Bitcoin is currently trading right around a very important downtrend of support. This downtrend of support right here, very interesting downtrend of support that we're trading around right now, because that's actually the long-term downtrend in the descending triangle pattern. That's this downtrend right here. That downtrend has been playing a role in the Bitcoin market for the better part of the last 9 months, pretty much the entirety of the year. Really, it became a big player back over here when we topped out at $10,000 in May and really set that downtrend in motion. But nevertheless, that is a very, very long-term downtrend that short-term price action is trying to bounce off of. And as we can see, if we zoom in right here, we see a very, very big fat wick right here that where the bulls tried to push Bitcoin back up above and get above this. So the traders are definitely looking at this downtrend, unless they bounce off of $6,300 for some reason. I think a lot of people are definitely looking at this as a potential level of support, and hopefully we do actually hold it, because this is a very important place. And really, this is where I'm drawing the line as to whether or not Bitcoin is in a rally or it's in a downtrend, if the rally is still continuing or if it's over. If Bitcoin does manage to have a proper break below this, that's not very good for the rally, guys. In fact, I would say that if Bitcoin does get a confirmed break below this, and by confirmed, I mean it has a lot of volume, we see maybe one of these big red candlesticks come down here and Bitcoin stays below it for a couple of hours, and we confirm a break below this downtrend somehow. I don't think we will, but if we do, I think the rally's over. I think the rally is just straight up over, and we're going to have to build a new rally from there, and that we'll probably see Bitcoin go down maybe to $6,000 or so. What I don't think is going to happen is specifically that. I think Bitcoin is more than likely, probably anyway, with maybe, I don't want to put a very, I'm not totally certain on this, maybe with a 60% certainty, I'd say that Bitcoin is probably going to bounce here and continue up, just because, mainly because we've gone down $1,000 in the last 24 hours, and typically when the market moves that far, that fast, you're going to have some kind of bounce, and this would be a very good place for it to happen. But nevertheless, if Bitcoin does get the bounce here, I think the rally is most certainly just on hold, if not over. I don't think the rally is over by any stretch of the imagination. If we go below that downtrend, though, and we confirm a break of it, I think the rally's over. Right now, what I think is that the rally is on hold until we get back up above this 20-daily EMA. If we get back up above the 20-daily EMA, I think the rally is going to be going straight back into full swing, and I think we can see Bitcoin go back up and set new highs, guys. One thing you have to remember is that this is about a day of price action. If we zoom out on the daily chart, we're looking at months of price action, guys. Just because we've seen some very drastic price action over the last 24 hours does not mean that Bitcoin, that doesn't really change anything in the grand scheme of the bear market. That does change some things in relation to what Bitcoin may be doing for the next 2 to 4 weeks, but it's nothing to get really, really concerned about, because it's not, we haven't changed anything fundamental or technical with Bitcoin. In fact, the fundamentals have been continuing to get better and better and better, while the price action has been continuing to go down. If we saw Bitcoin break something like $6,000, that would be a big deal, but we haven't done that. One thing that we want to talk about is the MACD. I left the MACD for last because the MACD is very interesting. We talked about 2 weeks ago, actually we've been talking about for about a month, about how I wanted to see a MACD cross back over here when we were actually setting our bottoms down here. I was talking about back over here, back in this region, about how I wanted to see a bullish MACD cross, and we finally got that right about over here. And after we saw that bullish MACD cross, that's right around the time that this rally actually kicked off. And right now, something interesting is happening. Right now, we're actually seeing a potential cross, a bearish cross on the MACD. We can see the signal line, which is this top line right here, is looking to cross below, the MACD line, which is this top line, is looking to cross below the signal line. And that's a bearish cross. We do not want to see that happen. That would also not be the end of the downtrend. That would also not be the end of the rally, but is something that we most certainly do not want to see. And if we do come down below this downtrend of support, we're likely going to see a bearish cross here, although I don't necessarily think that is going to happen. We're going to have to see how this daily candlestick closes. As you can see, this is a very new daily candlestick. There's a lot of price action. There's another 22 hours of price action left in this, and this candlestick is going to determine what this cross ends up looking like. So that's not something we can really speculate on all too much just yet, but it is something that we would like to keep in mind, because we want Bitcoin to stay in the bullish territory, and if it goes down, we'd like to see another bullish cross pretty soon. This is also reminiscent of something that we saw over here in the same way where we saw Bitcoin come below the 20-daily EMA and then get back up above it and continue the rally. What we saw over here is that Bitcoin actually got, the MACD line came down here to the signal line and got kind of support here, pseudo support. If you want to call it support, you can. That's not really the correct terminology, but the MACD line, the top line here, came down, bounced off of the signal line, and then continued north when Bitcoin set a bottom down here of around $6,100. And the same thing very well may be happening here over the next couple of days as Bitcoin tries to establish a bottom down here around $6,400. Let us hope that that can happen anyway, because that is something that we most certainly want to see. If Bitcoin goes down below this downtrend, we'll talk about that in another video because there's a lot to unpack if that happens. One other thing that we want to talk about is the weekly chart with the MACD, because if we come out to the weekly chart, one thing that we see on the MACD is that the MACD is also very, very important on the weekly chart right here, guys. As we can see, this MACD line has been curving up here towards the signal line for the better part of the last 2 months or so. It's been threatening a bullish cross, and in fact, we did see a bullish cross right here. If you zoom in a little bit, I'm going to make this even bigger so we can see it. If we zoom in right here, actually I can just maximize it right there. We saw the MACD line cross above the signal line, and right now, I don't know if you can see it, even though I made it the size of the chart, you can barely see it. It looks like we may be about to see a bearish cross again after we saw a fake bull cross. We're going to see what happens there, guys. I very much want to see Bitcoin get a bullish cross here. I talked about in a video, which you can watch in the top right, how important that is. That is extremely important that we see a bullish MACD cross. And the last thing I would want to see is that we get a bullish MACD cross last week, which we did, and then it go bearish. So this is something that we're going to be keeping an eye on as the Bitcoin market continues to develop over the next week and into the rest of this weekly candlestick, because right now, this weekly candlestick, I don't know about you, doesn't look all that bearish. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much everything that we wanted to talk about. We'll do a quick recap. Bitcoin has dropped by about $1,000 in the last 24 hours. It is currently trying to get support down here on a very important downtrend of support, which I do think it will get support on. We'll definitely see. Time will tell on that. Is the rally over? No, the rally is not over until we get below that downtrend. If we get below the downtrend and we confirm a break of it, I think the rally is over. For the time being, I think the rally is basically on hold, and the bulls are hopefully going to get their steam back up, come back up above the 20 daily EMA, and after we get above the 20 daily EMA, assuming we get above the 20 daily EMA, I think the rally will be back in the full swing of things. I don't think the rally is over, although there are definitely people that disagree with me. You can read in the comment section down below and you'll find plenty of them. If you're one of the people that disagree with me, or if you're one of the people that agree with me, pretty much if you're watching the video, feel free to drop a comment down below. Tell me what you think, guys. I love reading the comments. I do read every single one of them, even some of the silly comments. But anyway, guys, I think that's basically everything that we wanted to talk about in today's video. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.